वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। सत श्री अकाल, नमो बुधाय, जय निवास साथियों, सलाम अलैकुम साथियों। आज सुबह मानवता न्यूज चैनल पर आप सभी का स्वागत है। मैं मेघराज सिंह अमेरिका। साथियों, आप सभी जानते हैं कि हम उठाते गरीबों की आवाज, मजलूमों की आवाज। और आप सभी जानते हैं कि सिख का जो इतिहास है, सिख इतिहास रच रहे हैं। और ऐसा देख रहे हैं यहाँ की, जहाँ पर आपने देखा होगा कि पहले जो सीरिया के अंदर बम ब्लास्ट हुआ था, वहां पर भी मतलब जहाँ पर युद्ध होते हैं वहां पर सिख एक गुरु के सिख मतलब लंगर पानी लेकर पहुंच जाते हैं। वहां पर उनको जीवन दान देते हैं, उनको जीवन को एक नई दिशा देते हैं। तो एक हमारा एक संगठन है यहाँ पर जो यूनाइटेड स्टेट, तो उनकी तरफ से एक सिखों की तरफ से एक यूक्रेन के अंदर जो हमले हो रहे हैं, यूक्रेन के ऊपर जो हमले हुए हैं और जो रूस ने किए हैं, तो वहां पर भी मतलब एक तरफ तो चारों तरफ ये हाहाकार मचे पड़े हैं और चारों तरफ एक लोग दौड़ रहे हैं, भाग रहे हैं। तो एक हमारे टीम मेंबर हैं जो जसवीर सिंह भाटिया जी, उनकी लड़की और उनके जो मतलब उनके परिवार के मेंबर है, वहां पर यूक्रेन के अंदर गए हैं हेल्प करने के लिए। ये देखो मतलब सिखों की बहादुरी और सिखों का कारनामा है, जहां पर चारों तरफ से हाहाकार मची पड़ी है, जहां पर चारों तरफ एक दूसरे को मतलब दौड़ रहे हैं एक दूसरे से बच करके। तो वहां पर एक सिखों का इतिहास क्या है, आप रिपोर्ट दिखाते हैं आप सभी को। ये यूक्रेन से जो हरबीर कौर जी ने भेजी है और जसवीर सिंह जी ने ये हमारे पास भेजी है रिपोर्ट। और ये हरबीर कौर जो है ये वहां पर गई हैं, तो देखो कितने कमाल की बात है। तो रिपोर्ट दिखाते हुए जी।
Hi everyone, just wanted to kind of do a recap for today. At being at the Medyka refugee camp, obviously for the Ukrainian crisis, the refugee crisis. It truly is a humanitarian crisis, but it's also truly a humanitarian effort. It's pretty amazing to see how many different groups of people have come out. There's just not enough. I can't say enough that there's just so much generosity out there. I got to meet the piano man today, and he asked me, how long are you staying? And I told him, well, I don't know. And he's like, please come and visit me, because, it's like that brotherhood or sisterhood in this case of people working together and hanging out and making things, better, because we collaborate, we come up with ideas. And then seeing how many people are providing clothing. So I think one thing that they may have enough of is clothing. I think clothing is not the shortage right now. But it was wonderful to see so many different groups, providing food for free. And of course, our base camp, I'm here as a Rotarian, and of course, Ekunkar Bridges, but also United SIKHS. And it was just amazing to see the food truck in our camp, and the number of refugees in our camp. It's the largest tent. So as soon as you come in from the border, the first tent, which is a warming tent and a safe tent, is ours, and it's about 50 feet long. And it is a very expensive process to keep running, but that's neither here nor there, because it needs to be done. But I think the point is that there's definitely a value and need for it. There are a lot of people traumatized, and there's one person we talked to today, and you may have seen my interview, and you were probably wondering why is there a live stream of just dark and no video, because she was not ready to do a video, but at least she finally agreed to let me ask her questions with an interpreter, and it was tough with her, and she definitely has PTSD. It took her 23 days to make it to the border, and that means that she started on the first day she left. As soon as the sirens went off and the bombs, she heard the bombs come down in Kiev. And then also working with so many amazing people. I couldn't believe how many people are working together at our camp. We have the Jewish community from Israel on one side who are helping. They've got their little medical area. Then we've got the children's play area, which my mom and stuff is going to be doing a lot of work in that space. And then we've got our supply area for those that need bedding and things like that. And then we got another area for, personal care items, sanitary items, and personal hygiene, and the mats for sleeping on, and people stay there sometimes 3 hours a day. Some people are staying there for the whole day. Some people have been there now overnight because they're so traumatized that they don't want to go outside. and we're not really allowed to take photos in there because obviously not everybody understands the sensitivity of this situation. So I'm trying to take very select photos because I do understand, how to make sure the face is not in there and we keep the children protected. And what else? I went to the border at night to see, what the process looks like. So on the right side, you could think of it as a Polish border control. So those have to go through there, as our trucks are also going through there. Our team is going in there through the Ukraine border to get supplies to them, get them food, because now the crisis is really showing great needs on the side of Ukraine. Then you can see where they come, which is the left side, and come out, and then people are going in with carts to help carry the luggage over. And there's some really wonderful, amazing people from the military as volunteers. We're helping mothers carry suitcases and a kid hanging in their arm. It's a really heart touching situation. It's hard to believe that this stuff is real. But this war is very different. This crisis is very different because here, everybody's got a cell phone, or it's dead because they're out of battery, because they're out of juice. But it's rare. In most cases, you don't expect to see, people having communication devices and being connected, right? And that's, I think, made a big difference in this case. And I think that's why the world has suddenly showed up at the border, because everybody can tell directly from the people on the ground what's happening, and which is why I'm here, which is why my mom is here, because we felt that we call it kitsch, that pull, that we need to be here. And it was so amazing to see how many more volunteers like that are showing up out of the blue. Another mother-daughter couple came from Denmark. The mother just said, forget it, we're going. They drove more than 18 hours straight to get to this, and we're all volunteering together. You know what they did? They just took their car, the mother and daughter, kept going inside the Ukrainian borders where they could get through, and they just started pulling people out. I'm like, there was no organization, there was no structured plan, but there was people, were people who cared and who knew that there was time, that time mattered, that this was a critical situation. And so, and now we're all working together under the banner of United SIKHS, even though we all come from our separate organizations but we're all volunteering here together. And that's the most amazing thing. We have folks from Germany, Berlin, who are here. We have those from the Netherlands, Nederlanden, as they say. We have us from Scotland. We have from England, Malaysia, others from Australia, Austria. And I want to give a shout out to the OSD, the Österreich Sikh group, who are from Vienna. I couldn't see them today, but those friends of mine are here as well. And they're at the Khalsa Aid camp. And so, but all I can say is, guys, there's a lot of support needed, and most of that is financial. And I'm just being blunt and telling you that's the reality on the ground right now. People do not need a lot of clothing anymore. But as I was saying, most of these people can get to the border at this time. But the expectation is, as this continues, it's going to be the poorer refugees now that are going to be coming, who are going to need a lot more support when it comes to getting to wherever they can need to go, whether they're going to go to Poland, whether they're going to go to Germany. They need resources to get there. And then that means that all these organizations like ours are going to have to go in to get them out, to get them food. Right now, what's happening on the other side of the border is that they're running out of food. And so Lviv or Lvov, depending on where you're from, are becoming the supply chain for the other parts of Ukraine. And they're having a day to day and a half left of food. So our group is taking food truck in, supply truck in with canned goods. And my friend Simran, who just took in a big giant truck from another organization, just all cans, food and medical supplies, and then dropped that off and took 15 refugees back with him to Berlin. And he's actually from DC. So and because now the need is clear that supply chains are going to have a problem, Ukraine is running out of food. So we all, as in those that are outside the border, need to go in, just drop off hundreds and thousands of canned, meals, and it cannot be stuff that they have to cook. They have no time for that. Okay, zero. So if you can please support either, the Rotary clubs that you know, because they obviously are further down the pipeline in the process of the refugee crisis, or support those that are at the borders, which are like United SIKHS. They have the first and the largest tent providing all the warming. Even United Nations is counting on our camp right now to provide the services, because United Nations is not here as an official government request. They're here from a humanitarian perspective purely, so they cannot do a lot of things that volunteer organizations can do. So we are doing a lot of the heavy lifting at this point. So please donate. So I just gave you a couple names. United SIKHS, the Santa Clara, or the Rotary Club of Santa Clara, because they're providing supplies and helping fund some of the activities here. Rotary Club of Poland in Warsaw is doing a lot of refugee management, because they have to put them into housing, but they don't have money to put them into housing, because people are putting up refugees into their homes. Well, who's paying for all that stuff? That's not come cheap. Okay. So what else? But the greatest support right now is at the border, and I've also put my link in there, the funds that I'm raising myself, because I'm, of course, my mom and I are buying a lot of the supplies and donating a lot of stuff. So, but to any of these groups, and I put them in my chat, so please do come help. It's about 2:30 almost here. Finally got to have a hot shower. Finally washed my hair. Just kind of settle in. We have not slept for more than 3 hours a night. Not like and to be honest, I'm not looking for a pat in the back. I'm just saying that it's just so exhausting for just trying to get here, much less the work to do right now. We are at a hotel that's an hour and a half away, because there are no hotels, and the ones that are there are being used for refugees, or the others are hiking the prices up so much. So we are at a hotel that's literally, it takes an hour and a half each way to get there, and that in itself is exhausting. So my mom drives half the way and I drive half the way, because I start to get so tired because of jet lag. So that's kind of crazy. So thankfully mommy drives halfway and then I drive, or vice versa. So but everybody is putting their level best in, and this is not one person effort. And I gotta tell you, if I may close with this, if you're in such situations, you really truly feel the presence of God, whether you call him Vaiguru, whether you call him Allah, whether you call him Ram, whether you call him Rahim, whether you call him Jehovah, whether you call him Christ, whether you call him God. But if you want to experience that so-called force, that the force may be with you, it is when all these things happen, you see it through the actions, and that combined action, you totally see the presence of God. You can see that this creative force, this unifying force is there with us. And that's why there's no fear. And literally, we have no fear whatsoever. But a big kudos again to United SIKHS for the work that they're doing. It's just unbelievable and commendable. We are all working hard to make things better and have better processes and operations, but the heavy lifting is what they're doing. And big thanks to, of course, my organization, Ekam Garbridges, for all the folks got together and helped fundraise. And then big shout out to Santa Clara Rotary Club, and even NorCal Sister Cities for helping do some connects, and for friends like Maya, friends like Olga, Elena. I just think there's so many names of thanks. I should be careful because I don't want to offend anybody, but we really need to get to bed now because we're pooped. And like I said, if anybody wants to know what's happening, stay tuned. I'm posting every day, but please donate as much as you can. And remember, if you don't feel like this affects you now, well, let me tell you, it will affect you later. In any country where 44 million people get displaced, it is a global problem. So please take care and take interest, and send us your blessings and all those that are working out there in one unifying effort, and under the auspices of humanity. So with that, I'm going to go to bed because we only have a few hours to sleep again. And thank you again, and thank you for the support and not letting us feel alone. And I know some of you said, well, how aren't you afraid? How are you going up here by yourself and your mom by herself? Honestly, we're not by ourselves. We all have you guys. And I don't mean to sound cheesy, but my network and our network of Rotary Club, Santa Clara, City Santa Clara, the Sister Cities Club, San Jose Gurdwara, Silicon Valley Gurdwara, SIKHS for Humanity, There's so many. Of course, Ekungар Bridges, Joy of Seva. So many groups. We don't just rep. Me and Mom, she's sitting right there. Okay, we have a 3-bedroom, 3-bed hotel room, so we can all try to kind of come together. We are not literally here by ourselves as individuals. We are here representing you because we are lucky to have support of people like you. So thank you for being part of my network, and thank you for staying tuned to what I'm doing. We are doing. It's not I. It's always we, not me. We. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Time for me to go to sleep. Bye, Guraka. You can see we are totally flooded and loaded. There's not an inch of space left for us to even put like anything else. So we've pretty much shoved our seats up all the way forward because there's no more space left for anything. So because of all the great things we were able to bring with us. So we'll keep you posted. It's going to be about another 4.5 hours to get to the border. I have a feeling it'll be very different there. And we met with United SIKHS team last night, and they gave us kind of a rundown of where they are and what kind of services they're providing, so we could get prepared as we go in, so we know what are the things we have to consider and where are the areas that we need to be careful of, because now there are people coming in that are trying to say that they want to help, but they have potentially other issues or agendas. So we got that whole lowdown yesterday. And there's a lot of collaboration with the NGOs across the different parts of the border, which is wonderful to hear. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be there tonight, and we'll give you an update on what we're going to be doing. So all is well in terms of, us making it safely, getting to our hotel. Out of the airport was a little bit of a challenge because our border control line was like, I think, an hour and a half long, and then getting your car and then all those things. But we also did visit the Gurdwara, as you guys heard. So we'll keep you posted. So far, we've been sharing the experiences, and hopefully we'll touch base in a couple hours again. Okay, bye for now.
Very worried about my mom, so I want her to be safe.
Yeah, of course.
So this is the main reason why I came here, and my family and my grandma.
Okay.
My son is helping also me with my grandma, so that's why he is here. And
Okay. So did you see?
And their feet, they have we see their feet are they have
Bloody.
swallow, and then we see what we think the first thing that what they need, and then we provide them like a medication. Even the Gurdwara management, like Mr. Meghraj Singh help, and main Granthi Singh also. Like if we all came together,
So the swollen feet are from walking?
yes,
Yeah.
they were walked 70-80 kilometers.
Yeah.
Like first they rent a car. From they request someone to please provide us taxi, because it was hard to get taxi for them. And even one person in the Ukraine paid $1,000 to reach capital Kyiv to the border, and then these taxi drivers from the Ukraine, and they brought them to the border, and they left them 70-80 kilometers before the border, because it was too much traffic there and cars cannot go more to the border side, and then they had to walk, and they walked 70 to 80 kilometers. Every day they stay in the forest, and it was cold, and the temperature was 0 degree, and thank God at that time was not snowing.
Sunny, I also heard that many of the kids said that they had to eat ice because there was no more water left.
Yeah.
So they ice pakad ke kha rahe se.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
तो साथियों, आप सभी ने देखा कि वहाँ के हालात बताए हैं और कैसे हालात चल रहे हैं, और आने वाले वक्त में कैसा कैसा हो सकता है ये आने वाला कुदरती जानता है। लेकिन सिखों का इतिहास एक ऐसा है जहाँ पर एक गुरु की बख्शिश से नहीं हो, गुरु की बख्शिश के बिना नहीं हो सकता है। ये अल्लाह ताला वाहिगुरु की कृपा से हो रहा सारा कुछ। तो गुरु महाराज सबके ऊपर कृपा करे, अमन साथ दिलाए, तो सिखों का इतिहास पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर लिखा जाएगा कि सिखों की बहादुरी और सिखों ने कारनामे करके दिखाया। थैंक यू सबका, जुड़े मिलते रहेंगे। वाइस ऑफ मानवता। सत श्री अकाल।